So guys, the time is 4:27 and it's 1st February and I'm currently contracting. I'm feeling contractions since about 12 o'clock and I don't know if I'm going to give birth to my baby today, but it's definitely happening. Like, I've seen the first sign of labor and the contractions are getting stronger and I'm just waiting it out to that one just hit me to see how the whole thing plays. But yeah, this is the update. I'm just going to try to vlog the whole process and maybe just show you guys bits here and there and keep you updated. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This is Enewerume Content Queen, and in today's sit down video I'll be giving you the full details of my natural unmedicated vaginal birth story. What I hope to achieve with this video is, firstly, to help you prepare your mind for a positive labor and childbirth experience through my own story. Secondly, to give you tips that I used to help you have a positive labor and childbirth experience. These are tips I used and they absolutely worked for me, so I'll be sharing them with you in this video. So if this is your first time on my channel, you are very welcome to this channel. I hope you like this video, you subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any new video whenever I upload them. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for supporting me and thank you for coming back to watch my videos. So let's get started. I'll start this story with how I prepared for my baby's arrival, and the first thing I did was to do a photo shoot. I did my photo shoot on the 14th of January, and you can check in the card above and just watch how my photo shoot went. So after the photo shoot, the next thing I did was to prepare my baby's clothes and just set up her closets, clean the house. I just did a whole lot of nesting for my baby's arrival, which you can also check in the card here. After nesting, cleaning everywhere, the next thing I did was to pack my hospital bag, because I'm of the school of thought that it is better to over prepare early than to be caught in a rush and just be drowning in anxiety. So I packed my baby's bag, prepared my hospital bags, and I also have a video that explained every single thing I took with me to the hospital, and you can check that also in the card here. And I just packed my hospital bag, got ready, and that was the first thing I did to prepare for my baby's arrival. When I got to 24 weeks of my pregnancy, I started having false contractions, what they call Braxton Hicks contractions. They just come sharp, suddenly, and they don't last for long, and it just continued that way. It wasn't constant, it wasn't frequent, it wasn't all the time, but whenever I felt it, I knew that yes, this is actually Braxton Hicks contraction. So that also alerted me and made me say, you know what, let me start preparing for my baby's arrival, so that when my baby arrived, she didn't come in an unprepared situation. And my EDD was February 7th plus or minus 2 weeks, and my baby arrived 2nd February. So from 24th of January, I kept saying, God, please, one more week, because I honestly was not ready. I had some jobs I had to finish, and just some other nesting things I had to do. So I kept on praying for one more week, and God actually answered me and gave me an extra week, because on the 29th of January, I was actually sitting in my parlor just watching TV when I felt a very sharp pain, like it was a very sharp contraction, and I had to stop what I was doing and rest on my knees and my elbows and just breathe in, breathe out to ease the contraction. And I had never felt any pain like that. In fact, it was even worse than the menstrual pain I normally have. And when it happened that 29th, I knew that my baby was actually getting closer, because I had not felt that kind of contraction before. It was not like the other ones I had felt. So the next day, which was 30th, I quickly filmed 2 videos. One of them was talking about the dollar cards you can get if you live in Africa for your business. I can't really even remember the other one, but I filmed 2 videos on the 30th. I edited them and just scheduled them for upload, not knowing that my labor was going to come quickly. That was on the 30th. On the 31st, everything was fine. I was okay. There was no pain. I was very energetic. In fact, as my delivery day grew closer, my energy increased, and I was actually hoping to give birth to my baby on the 7th of February, but God actually had other plans and wanted her to arrive earlier than that date. On the 1st of February, I woke up normally, was doing my normal thing. It was time to join the 12 o'clock prayers in my church, and I was in the bathroom when I just felt the contraction again, and this time it was actually fast and it stayed longer than normal. And I was like, okay, is this it? Because in my mind I was like, oh, maybe it's not it. But then it came the second time, and I was like, this could actually be it. So when I went to pee, I had to take tissue paper to clean up, and when I cleaned up, I actually saw a tinge of blood, and I was like, oh wow, this is what they call bloody show, which is either a pinkish or actual blood that you release from the vagina, and that's one of the first signs of labor. And so I just had to download an app called Contraction Timer, and I started timing my contraction. So by 12:30 I went to pee again, and this time around there was actual blood, and that was when I called my mom and my husband and told them, you know what, I think this baby might arrive today, so let's start getting ready. So because my hospital bags were already packed, all we had to do was move the bags from the guest room to the living room and just prepare. And prior to that day, my friend gave me a book called The Supernatural Childbirth. She gave me the soft copy, and I had been reading that book daily, trying to just prepare my mind with positive affirmations from the book, and just to declare about my baby, my delivery, the kind of delivery I wanted, the kind of labor experience I wanted. So when the contractions came and I kept on timing them, the timing was actually getting closer, with the contractions lasting for longer periods, and that was when I knew that I was already in active labor. But I was not feeling any serious pain. I mean, the pain I actually felt from the contraction, it was not even up to what I normally feel when I have menstrual pain, and my menstrual pain is not serious, it's usually average or mild, and the contraction I actually felt then was less than the mild menstrual pain. So it was a really positive experience for me actually. And even while I was timing my contraction, I was just breathing in and out with my mouth, trying to use my breathing to relax myself and to manage the pain, and it actually worked. And I still kept on declaring about my baby, my body, my cervix, everything about my body, my labor, the experience. I kept on professing good things, which is why positive affirmations are actually really important. So by 7 p.m. the timing was now even closer, like the interval was closer than it was before, because I still kept timing my contractions with the contraction timer app, and then the duration was also getting longer. And that was when my mom was like, you know what, let's go to the hospital. It was already 7 o'clock that evening. Left to me, I wanted to stay at home till like 9 or 10 p.m. and she was like, no, we have to leave now. And it was actually a good thing we left for the hospital, because when I got to the hospital, I was taken to an exam room, and when they checked me, they did a cervical check for me. That was my first experience with cervical check, and it wasn't painful, but it was very uncomfortable for me. When I got there, the nurse in charge was like, are you sure you're actually in labor? Like, are you sure you're in active labor? If I check you and you're not dilating, you have to go back home because you are probably not actively in labor. And I was like, you think I'm not in active labor because I'm not shouting, right? When she checked me around that 7:30 to 8 when we got to the hospital, she said, oh, you're actually 5 cm dilated. Let's take you to the ultrasound room and just check the position of your baby. So I was taken to the ultrasound room, and they checked the position of my baby. My baby's head was down, which is actually the way the baby should be. I was assigned a nurse and a midwife. I started feeling very pressed, like I wanted to pee, and the nurse that sent me was like, I should not pee, that she didn't want me to push my baby in the toilet, which was actually true, because she didn't know how dilated I was, because she hadn't checked me. And so when she checked me for the first time, I actually felt real pain from the cervical check. I was not wondering why her own check was painful, and the nurse who had checked me earlier in the exam room, hers was not painful. So she kept on checking me, and it was really, really painful. I mean, the cervical check was the most painful part for me. If not for that cervical check, I don't think I would have had a very painful childbirth experience. And so by 9 o'clock, I was already 8 cm dilated. From 7:30 I got to the hospital, and then from that 9 o'clock it was as if dilation just slowed down. Everything became slow, because to give birth to a baby through the vagina, you have to be 10 cm dilated. And so because my dilation was slow, I was giving an injection. I can't even remember the name, but I think it was to help with the contraction, to hasten it, and to help with the dilation of my cervix. But because it was still very slow and my baby was already crowning, they had to also rupture my membrane. I don't know what they call it, but they had to puncture it so that the water would break, because my water did not break on its own. It was actually ruptured by the midwife. And so because the dilation was slow, they had to manually expand my cervix for it to increase. And trust me, I have never felt pain as much as that. It was actually very painful because my cervix was quite tight and it was not dilating up to 10 cm. By the time I was already dilated to 10 cm, probably 11:30, it was not time to push my baby. And I was pushing, the baby was not coming out. And that was when the midwife told me she had to do an episiotomy for me. An episiotomy is a tear you get so that your vagina can be wide enough to deliver your baby. Apparently mine was not wide enough to push out my baby, and my baby was just 3 kg, so she wasn't overly big, but I was giving the episiotomy and I had to push my baby. So by the time the whole thing was done, it was 2:06 a.m. when my baby arrived the next day, February 2nd. So after the episiotomy, I was cleaned and stitched up and sent to the recovery room. When I got to the recovery room, my baby was in the nursery. I didn't see her that early morning. The only time I saw her was when I pushed her out and they gave her to me to hold. After holding her, they took her from me. Her dad went with them and they cleaned her up, dressed her up, and took her to the nursery. Unfortunately, my breast milk wasn't coming out, so I couldn't feed my baby immediately. So they just gave her glucose solution to drink. And there's one thing I would say is many moms tend to feel guilty when they give birth and their breast milk is not rushing. But the truth of the matter is, it is not your fault. You are not the one that is responsible for producing milk. You might be lucky milk might come out for your baby that very day, or milk might not come out for your baby. At the end of the day, it is not your fault. Mine took 3 days to come out before I was able to feed my baby breast milk. I had to get baby formula, and I'll just talk about all these things in my postpartum video when I'm giving my 1 month postpartum update. My baby was dressed up and she was brought to me that morning by 6 a.m. because I gave birth to her at 2:06 a.m. so she was brought to me by 6 a.m. That was when I actually properly saw her, saw what she looked like. I know that it was a very surreal experience because I kept on wondering so is it me that just gave birth to this baby, so I'm not a mother? And it was just it was like a dream. I literally had to pinch myself to tell myself that I was not dreaming or that I was not sleeping, and this was actually my baby. So they ran some tests on her because they had to check for bilirubin level in her body, which is responsible for causing jaundice. They checked, they didn't see the bilirubin in high levels, but we were asked to still wait for 24 hours to check if probably the results might change later. The next day, which was February 3rd, they came and did the test again, and we were told that she was free to go home. She didn't have jaundice in her system and everything was okay, but that we had to come back on Sunday because on the 3rd was Friday, 2nd was Thursday, so we had to come back to the hospital on Sunday to get another test done to know if the jaundice had come to her body. But by then she was okay and everything was fine, so we just spent 24 hours from delivery time to the next day when we were discharged, and then I transitioned into the new mom life, trying to navigate caring for a newborn and taking care of myself at the same time. So this is technically the whole story from my childbirth experience. I could not vlog because trust me, if you don't plan to vlog, you will actually not vlog. It has to be something that you're intentional about, something you've planned, and I honestly did not plan to vlog my birth experience. It didn't actually come to my mind because of how unexpected my labor was and my delivery was. So probably my next pregnancy I would vlog and just show more details, but everything I've explained now is exactly how everything happened. And like I said, I'll be doing a video soon to give you guys 1 month postpartum update where I share many other things in details, things that I couldn't share in this video, how I navigated the whole no milk production process, and how I've been taking care of myself since giving birth birth to my baby. So guys, next I'm going to talk to you about is tips to help you have a positive pregnancy, positive childbirth, and positive labor experience. So these are tips I used when I was pregnant, and one of them was I listened and read people's positive experiences and stories. Anything negative, I just did not allow it to sit in my mind, because if you start listening to or reading negative experiences of childbirth, you will then internalize it, and when you internalize such things, it ends up manifesting in you or with your experience. So try as much as possible to avoid anything negative. Secondly was I read the Supernatural Childbirth book. It was given to me by my friend, the soft copy, and then my mother-in-law bought the physical copy for me. But you can get the book on Amazon. The link is in the description. You can check it out and get the book. That book is actually going to help you with daily positive affirmations and prayers for yourself, your baby, and how you want the whole experience to be. The third thing I did was to hope for the best and expect the best. After reading positive stories, reading the supernatural childbirth experience, and then praying and practicing daily positive affirmations, hope for the best and expect the best. You cannot pray for something positive and be expecting something negative at the same time. It does not work that way. So hope for the best and expect the best. Have positive people around you. Even if there is someone or there are people who are sharing their experiences with you and their experiences are negative, just try as much as possible to filter out the negativity. If you can, tell them, oh no, I don't want to be hearing negative stories, I only want to hear positive things. Even though this is what people say they normally go through, I don't want to go through that. I want to have my own positive experience. Surround yourself with positive people who can pray for you, who can encourage you, and just help you feel good about the whole experience. Next thing to do is ask for help or advice from people you know have given birth, or people who have experience with childbirth, or people who are medical professionals. However, learn to take people's advice with a grain of salt. It is not all advice that would come that you should take. It is not all advice that are positive. There are so many new moms who have gotten into a lot of trouble just because they took advice from a certain person and it really did not turn out well for them. So if anybody should advise you, do your research, do your findings before you apply that advice to your life to avoid any issues or any problem. The next tip I'll give you is prepare for your baby's arrival as soon as possible. If you can, prepare a month or 2 months ahead. It's just all about packing your baby's hospital bag and your hospital bag and zipping it, and just keep the bag in the corner. Just like my labor came unexpectedly, yours might come unexpectedly too. And if you're not ready, you then be anxious. And just imagine taking anxiety to the labor room. It's not going to be a positive experience. So prepare and plan as early as possible. And finally, the last tip I would share with you is get your hospital bag ready to go. It sounds like I'm flogging the horse too much, but if you're not ready when your baby comes, you will be very anxious and you'll be very stressed out. And trust me, the first few weeks of your baby's arrival is not a walk in the park. Even if you have help, you'll be sleep deprived and you don't want to carry anxiety into that week. So try as much as possible to prepare for your baby's arrival as early as you can. So guys, this is the full story of my natural unmedicated vaginal birth experience. And if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer you to the best of my knowledge. And just let me know if you learned a thing or two from this video, or if you have any questions for me, and I'll be happy to answer you. So guys, I will see you in my next video where I'll give you my 1 month postpartum update. Until my next video, bye.